Hey, hi everyone, welcome back to Notes. Based on the Google form, majority of you said that the YouTube notes have been helpful for you, so I am going to continue doing that through the rest of the school year that we have. We have about 4 weeks left, which is so crazy to think. So you will continue to access notes through YouTube this way. I'll continue to post a blank copy of the notes as well, so hopefully you have that pulled up right now. One announcement that I have for you is that I'm now going to be doing live lessons with you guys for each of our sections that are going to be on Tuesdays, and you will see those times in the Zoom session and everything posted on Schoology. So just as a heads up that you will have access to that. It will be different problems than what's posted here. But just another opportunity for you to have some live instruction and be able to ask questions if you have them. Okay, so like I said, today we are going to be starting our new section. We are moving into chapter 13. Section 13.1 is titled Collecting and Tabulating Data. So we're switching gears from algebraic equations, which we were doing in chapter 8, and now looking at different ways to work with data. Okay, so by the end of this lesson and the practice that you are going to do with this lesson, you'll be able to collect, organize, and tabulate data. Okay, so we're first going to kind of focus on this scenario with Sean here as our notes for today. So the scenario is that Sean wants to find how students in his class get to school. So to do this, he can collect the data by using one of the three methods below. So we could look at method 1, carrying out observations. So he could stand at the school door in the morning to observe how his classmates arrive at school. That's one way that he can collect data on a scenario that he wants. He could also conduct surveys through interviews where he could sit and interview his classmates to collect his data and find out how they get to school. The third method that he could do would be conducting surveys using a questionnaire, or where he can prepare some type of questionnaire that then his classmates can fill out, kind of like the one that they provide us below. I'm sure that you have probably participated in one of these three methods before. Either carrying out observations, maybe standing like in science, you're doing an experiment and you're making observations and recording it, or maybe interviewing a classmate for something that you could be doing in a writing piece, or filling out a survey. You filled out a survey for me last week using the Google form, and I know that you guys also filled out a survey for school. Okay, so you have participated in probably each of these three. But when thinking about this type of scenario and then how this kind of relates to math, I want you to think about which method would be the most efficient. Which method should he use to be able to collect the most amount of data, but it not being too time consuming or being too involved. Something that's going to be, he's going to get the data that he wants. It's not going to be too hands-on or too much to do. Think about these three methods. Which one do you think would be the most efficient for Sean? Okay. Probably method 3 would be the most efficient, right? If he prepares a type of questionnaire, maybe that we see in this picture below, he hands it out to his classmates, they return it to him, he then has his data. He could do one of the other two if he wanted to, but in this scenario, method 3 with using the survey is probably going to be the most efficient for Sean. Okay. Now that we have some background about Sean, we're going to scroll down and look at our second page now at the data that he did collect with his survey. Okay, so Sean uses a tally chart to record the results of his survey. Then he counts the tally marks to find how many students use each form of transportation. Okay, so there's different columns here. It's clearly labeled. We have a title. We have a column here telling us all the different ways that students could get to school. We have our tally column that has our tally marks, and then this frequency over here. Okay, frequency in this red box refers to how often a piece of data, such as an item or a number, occurs. Really, what this frequency is just counting the tally marks. that's what you'll see as we look through different examples. Frequency column is just counting up our tally marks there. Okay, so we could see that for walk, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tally marks, which should match up with our 8 here. Just a side note, when you are writing out tally marks and making them, remember that when you work in groups of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of adding a fifth like that, we're going to do a crisscross and add a tally mark that way or the other way. It goes right through it, just as a side mark for yourself. Okay? All right, so we have this data in the table, and we're going to look at answering these couple of questions that we have down below. Okay, number 1, how many students walk to school? Well, we're going to look at our table, the walk column, or in the walk row. We could look at the frequency to say 8, so there are 8 students that walk to school. The most common form of transportation is, okay, we'd look in our frequency column, which number is our highest form of transportation. Looks like it's 13, which matches up with bus, so we would write bus. The least common form of transportation is, let's see, the one that has the least amount is 4, which matches up with bike. Okay, number 4, Sean collected data from blank classmates all together, not including himself. So if we're thinking about the total amount of data that he collected, what we'd want to do is we'd want to add all of these numbers together. Okay, so we have 8 plus 13 plus 4 plus 5, which gives us a total of 30. So 30 classmates were surveyed altogether, not including himself. Okay, and then for number 5 there, write your own question that can be answered using the data in the table. That's open-ended for you. In the end, the goal of this section, and this is really all that it is, it's taking data, putting it into a table, and then answering different types of questions that go along with it and coming up with your own conclusions. You could come up with your own question like, how many more students take the bus compared to walking? Or we could say that there's just about as many students that take a car that also ride a bike, the 4 and 5. Okay, so these are different types of conclusions that we would make from the table here. Okay, so like I said, this is really all that 13.1 is. We'll have more practice with that, with the extra practice, as well as with the live session that I will be offering today. So please make sure that you take advantage of that. If you have questions, reach out to me through email or Schoology message as well if you're unable to join the Zoom. And continue just doing the great work that you all are doing. I miss you. Wish that we could be ending the school year together, but unfortunately we'll have to just keep doing it this way. Okay? Keep up the great work.